Black Ice, welcome in Antwerp.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here with us. Talking about single mothers, you have a poem about single fathers that you brought yesterday in a Zuiderpershuis in Antwerp, which was very touchy because usually, like you said, people hear the version of the mother, but the father is always silent. Would you mind performing it for us?
Internal hurt of a lone soldier, so held firmly in my right arm with her head on my shoulder because that's the way she likes me to hold her. That's what I told her. Speaking about my daughter, in order to save face, because just before the embrace and all the I love yous and I miss yous, she clearly let me know that she had issues talking about daddy. Where you been? And just then my mind began sinking back, thinking back to those Saturday seldom show up days, those seem like my father don't want to bother helping me grow up days, so sick of not seeing my dad I want to throw up days, those my mom said you shouldn't come nowhere near where we resided because she decided to blow up days. Well, anyways, her eyes were always able to pull the disguise off of any lies I might try to use to summarize the situation. You see, it's funny the way it's second nature, the way I put these words to paper but couldn't figure out a simple explanation to offer my baby girl. Don't like having to admit that tomorrow's just a maybe girl, the famous ask your mom and see what she say, but the ball's in her court, so we got to play how she played. But hey, I tell my big girl not to fret because all this dirty will come out in life's wash and we haven't finished filling up yet. You see, when two parents are not in conjunction, a dysfunctional child is inevitable. See, mommy's not on time with daddy and daddy's not on time with mommy, so the child grows up off schedule. And it's incredible because he always told me that I would understand when I got older why he used to call himself the lone soldier. And one night when she called crying and I couldn't get to her to hold her, even though it wasn't some game shit, I felt like it was some lame shit, I told her. Just because I couldn't be right there after a nightmare about a fight between me and her mother. See, she's 6 and can't conceive how it could leave, and she won't see why we have to live in different places or how come her and her little brother don't see each other's faces on a consistent basis. And it hurts when I have to lay down the hand of discipline knowing that I just get to spend a short segment of time with her. So imagine how I feel when I got to hit her. And don't get it twisted, sometimes I mess up and don't get her because my ego won't let her mother call me a babysitter. But for my baby girl, I swallow my pride and show through. See, I love my kids. Ain't nothing I won't go through.
Thank you, very nice. We're Medium from Belgium, but we make things about African events in Belgium. Have you ever been to Africa?
I've been to South Africa, very short.
If you maybe have a message for the youth in general, black, white, yellow, anybody. But before you answer it, you wrote something that you performed yesterday as well called 410 Days in a Life. That to me is actually the answer to the question and very inspiring for the rest of us. Would you mind performing it?
It wrote, when you look at me and my brothers, what's your first impression? Does the sight of us leave you guessing, or do you understand the stressing, the aggression? The look of no hope on me and my niggas' faces like the Lord overlooked us when he handed down his graces. You see, embraces fall short on the numb tips of street entrepreneurial fingers, still stuck in the walls of the project halls where the coke smell still lingers. External blingers is all we can be, cause on the inside we've been given nothing to shine on. And the record deal's harder to get than coke, so my niggas get their grind on. Cause the TV tells us aim high, nigga, make all goals lateral. But see, that takes paper that we don't have, so niggas put their souls up as collateral. Now, some niggas reclaim them, some blame them, make an excuse to sell them. But when a nigga goes from not doing to doing, what can you tell him? Not to be a nigga? Shit, I got to be a nigga. That's how I pay the bills. I'm gonna do that whether I got to sling this coke or exploit these rhyme skills. See, America makes you an opportunist, and at the same time, they institutionalize you. So the fact that niggas get big record deals, big money, and then go to jail shouldn't surprise you. That's what lies do. And see, most of these guys do have raw talent, just an infantile education. So the business feeds you all the weed and ecstasy and a little bit of paper to provide some pacification from all the bullshit frustration they serve you. Meanwhile, they corrupt your perception of what the real is. See, they've taken all our businessmen and given them the mindsets of drug dealers, took all our messengers, made them rappers, just flapping their jaws, afraid to admit their treason, took all our soldiers for the cause, made them killers for no reason, and being fucked up, well, that's in this season. So if you're negative, you're positive. But if you're positive, you're called a hater. But I maintain control of my soul because I know it gets greater later. And I told you at the last show, shit, I'm no hater. I just know where the truth is. Been intertwined in this pudding for about a year now, so I know where the proof is. See, it lies in these midtown Manhattan skyscrapers where former hustlers like myself sign papers and pull off fucked up capers like 16 infamous stars at a time. They got us chopping and bagging and serving that. Music is potent, it's straight to the soul, so it's much more addictive than crack is. Now, the high is just an illusion, all lies and confusion, but to feel that rush just once, my young bucks will go through it. So in essence, they still flooding the streets with the thugs, drugs, and killing. They just using these record labels to do it. Taking our heartfelt demos and putting us in limos, trying to fuck up divine direction. But young black men have been trained to chase money and pussy. So we fall victim to our own erection and begin to convince ourselves we're on our way somewhere where we're not going. But ignorance is bliss, and niggas love this. So niggas take pride in not knowing. We not growing. I really don't care how slick you flowing if if you ain't showing nothing to these kids or add nothing positive to the earth. Black Ice been destined to touch the world ever since I was born. To be real, fuck a record deal. God gives me what I'm worth.